Yes.
Teddy.
That is adorable, Brigitte. Is that your friend? Is it Teddy?
Yeah.
Oh, he's so soft.
I was 32 years old.
You're 32. What did you hear about the United States before coming here?
A lot.
Okay, I'll just put a lot.
No, well, Sweetie, you should ask him for more details.
Do you have more detail?
Yeah.
You can put that, and it's a recording, so I'll type it. We'll type it when we get home, okay? So
A lot slash.
I don't remember really. I mean, here on Swedish television, there's a lot of things from United States.
Okay.
And I think mostly that the weather was sunny and nice.
You're just pretty sunny and nice.
Yeah, and usually it's sunny and nice here when in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really think that it was going to be that cold like we have now in the winter.
Usually it's not.
Yeah, right.
What was it really like once you got here?
It was big.
Okay, big.
I remember I went to Woodman's for probably 2 hours, just walking back and forth, looking at all the stuff that they sell. I remember that they had a lot of cornflakes, and I'm not used to all the selections that you can make. Then I remember that during lunches we were sitting with my colleagues at work, and then I asked a lot of questions. Then people probably thought that I was annoying because I didn't know everything here, and now I think it's kind of normal, but it wasn't normal then. I thought all the houses looked the same, that the colors, they were all gray and so on, but now I do see that there are differences.
Mm-hmm.
That's from what I can remember.
Yeah. Why did you immigrate to the United States?
So I was working for General Electric in Sweden, and they closed down their facility, and then someone here from United States was asking if I was interested to move from Sweden to United States, and I didn't really have any ties back to Sweden in that regard, so that's why I was interested in immigrating or moving over to United States.
Okay.
It was through my work.
Okay. What made your transportation did you use to get here?
I flew an airplane.
Airplane?
Yes, it was first class ticket, business class. It was fantastic. It was like sitting in a sofa.
Mm. Did anything interesting happen on your trip?
On the flight, not really, but then when I met up with a colleague at the airport, and then I got a ride with him to my apartment, and then I had a friend saying that, Eric, now we're going to go to Chicago and buy a car. So then we had to drive back to Chicago right away. So I landed in Chicago, came to Madison, and then I was back in Chicago just a couple of hours after. So it was a lot of driving the first day.
Okay. What did you need to do for paperwork to immigrant?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah, there was a lot of paperwork. So to get here, I don't really remember, but the GE company, the company that I'm working for, they helped me out with a lot of the paperwork. So I had to go and get the passport, and to be perfectly honest, I don't remember all the paperwork, but it was a lot of paperwork that I had to sign and so on.
What was your job when you got to the United States?
I was a manufacturing engineer.
Okay. Okay. Where did you settle after you came to the United States?
Say that again. Where did I?
Where did you settle after you came to the United States?
You mean where I stayed?
Yeah.
I was in an apartment for a month on the east side, next to East Town Mall. Then I was living in an apartment on the west side in Fitchburg, close to where you live. It was on PD. Do you know the restaurant Liliana's?
No.
It's in Fitchburg, and there I was living for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years, and then we moved out here to Stoughton.
Okay. Why did you settle there?
I like the garage.
Okay.
I like to. You need a paper tissue?
Yeah. I'm really itchy nose.
All right. Here you go. So
Okay.
we stayed here. We've been here since 2008, and I know that I like this house because the garage is pretty big, and I like to be out in the garage and repair cars.
Okay. What did you bring with you?
Not that much. I brought a bed. I brought some kitchen utensils. I brought computers. I brought a desk that I could have in my office. Clothes. So it wasn't. Yes, I brought a sofa and what more did I bring? Yes, I brought this kitchen table.
What did you leave behind?
I left behind my skis. I left behind some really good cooking pans that I miss. I left behind a TV, a VCR, a lot of books and so on that I didn't bring with me. And yes, some tools like a drill machine and hand tools I left. I gave it to my dad.
Okay. How was the geography in your homeland similar to where you settled?
I would say that the job is pretty similar. So it's not much of a big difference between the job here and in Sweden, but there's more cultural differences that I work in a plant now where it's a union plant, and then I think it's sometimes odd that I can't go and do the work that someone in the union has to do it. In Sweden, people are somewhat lazy, that they would just be glad if I did someone else's job.
Okay. Hey. How is it different?
That's I think here it was the culture is different. That Swedes seems to be maybe a little bit more lazy. Hey, Gira, be careful with Houghton. I think Swedes might collaborate better, that they try to make up a plan before they make a decision. Here we might make up a decision first and then go down the road and then find out that this didn't work.
Okay. Did you get help when you got here? If so, who helped you and how?
Yes, someone helped me. I don't remember her name. It was someone through the company. She took me to different places, like I got my social security card. I got a bank account set up. I got the driver's license. She helped me here with finding somewhere to live. So I think that was mainly to get settled here with the bank and somewhere to live. I also had some colleagues that took me out and showed me around a little bit here in Madison. Annika, we need to be careful with Houghton. Annika, we need to be very careful. Leave Houghton alone now. Yeah, I know. Leave Houghton alone. Annika, are you listening? Go and show Vicky your hair. Can you go and show Vicky your hair color? All right, good. They like Houghton.
I can tell.
He may not like them that much. What do you think about Annika's hair?
It's cool. Well, how on one part of it it's pink on the other, and on the other is blonde.
Yeah. Do you want pink hair?
No, I think I want, but I don't know exactly what hair, but yeah, like last year I had really crazy hair.
You did?
Hmm.
How did it look like?
It looked like I had a lawn on my head.
Well, I don't have a lawn on my head anymore.
What was something new you tried in America?
I don't know really. Yes, American or football. I have never seen a football game before. And I still don't understand the rules, but I think it was the second or third day someone took out me to the football game, and I didn't understand much. I just thought they ran back and forth and were hitting each other. Now Nikki has explained a little bit to me about the rules, so now I think it's a little bit more interesting. I have tried to throw a football, but I'm not very good at it. Are you?
Nope.
It was kind of funny that Nikki and I went to Sweden for a couple of years ago, and then we brought a football for one of my friend's kids, and she was the one that had to show us how to throw the football and kick the football.
Is there anything else you can tell me about your experience to better help me understand what it's like to be an immigrant?
I think from my experience, American people has been very nice and helpful. I haven't had any real bad experiences with people that if I have asked for help, I have gotten help. I've also seen that if I need to go and see a doctor, I can get help pretty much right away. While coming from Sweden, unless you're dying, let's say that, I don't really have a good example here, but let's say that it's not that serious, then you might have to wait for the doctor. You might have to wait a couple of weeks until you can see him. Here in United States, it is pretty much you can see the doctor instantly. I think yes, also that I'm used to public transportation, that you pretty much go outside of your house and then you can get on a bus or a subway and then you can go to places. Here you pretty always have to have a car and drive with your car. So it's again, it's very, very big here.
Okay, then I think there's one. Oh yeah, that's just for an interview, so I did the whole thing.
Say what?
I did the whole I finished the interview now.
All right. Do you mind if I take a peek here?
Sure. I'm gonna go in the front of the cat now.
Yeah.
By the window.
Say that again.
Where's the cat?
I don't know where that there is. He's afraid, so you have to be very, very gentle. I'm just going through the questions here. Okay.
Go through again because he can give you all the information. So go back and ask him for.
Which question?
I didn't say. You said here. How was the geography in your homeland similar?
Oh.
But I'll let you write, and I can tell you.
Okay, how?
So how the geography was similar. The seasons are pretty much the same. I mean, we have winter, spring, summer, and fall. They pretty much happen the same as they do here. How they are different is that it's the winters, they are colder here than in Sweden, at least from where I lived. The summers might be also a little bit warmer here. I think the spring comes a little bit earlier. The snow might be it may be a little bit later here. So we have shorter periods of winter here. The summer is longer here, and it's warmer, and I like that. Also, there are more hills and so on from where I come from. Here it's more flat. I'm more used to that. You can see more mountains and so on. The roads, they are made of asphalt. It's not concrete as it is here. And that's where it gets kind of noisy when you drive on the concrete roads. Shall we look at what more do we have here? I got to help. Food game activity. Yes, here with food. I've also tried to eat tacos.
Okay, tacos.
Yeah. I think that sums up the questions you had.